Have you ever had a moment where your chest felt a little tight? Your arm ached just enough to make you pause, or your heart skipped a beat, and for a split second, you wondered, is this it? It's not something most of us like to talk about, but deep down, especially after 60, that thought has probably crossed your mind at least once. You're alone at home, maybe doing the dishes, reading a book, or just enjoying your afternoon tea, and suddenly, your body doesn't feel quite right. It's a chilling feeling. One part fear, one part confusion, and it's exactly the kind of moment we need to be ready for. Because here's the truth. Heart attacks don't always give you a dramatic Hollywood-style warning. Sometimes they creep in quietly, like a whisper. And if you're alone, every second counts. But take a deep breath with me right now, because this video is not about fear. It's about power. It's about knowing exactly what to do if you ever find yourself in that critical moment. No panic, no guessing. Just smart, simple actions that can save your life. So today, we're going to talk about how to survive a heart attack alone, especially after 60, when our risk goes up and our bodies change in ways we don't always see coming. We'll walk through what to look for, how to respond, and what habits you can build today to help your body stand a better chance tomorrow. Let's start with the moment where everything begins, recognizing the signs. Now I know some of you might be thinking, I've heard the symptoms before, chest pain, left arm, sweating. But here's the thing, heart attacks in people over 60 often look a little different. They can be subtle, they can sneak up on you. And for women especially, the signs can be totally unexpected. Imagine this. You're not gasping for air or doubled over. You just feel unusually tired. Maybe you feel a little nauseous, or like you've got indigestion that just won't go away. Maybe there's a tightness in your back, or your jaw feels a little sore. These are real warning signs too. Your body might be trying to whisper something before it starts to scream. The key here is listening, and not brushing it off as just something I ate, or probably nothing. That mindset, where we don't want to be a bother or we think we're overreacting, is one of the most dangerous things we carry into our later years. Your body is talking. Pay attention when it speaks. Now, let's say you do notice something is wrong. Your chest feels heavy, or you're breaking out in a cold sweat. Maybe your heart is racing, or your arm feels weak and strange. You're alone. What do? The first thing, and I can't stress this enough, is don't lie down. A lot of people instinctively want to rest, to curl up, to hope it passes. But lying down can make things worse. What you want to do is sit upright, ideally in a firm chair, and try to stay calm. Easier said than done, right? But here's why it matters. Sitting upright helps your heart do its job a little easier. It reduces the strain and keeps your blood flow more stable. Then, call emergency services immediately. Even if you're not 100% sure it's a heart attack, call. You don't need to drive yourself or wait it out. Time is everything, and paramedics are trained to handle this better than anyone. In many cases, early treatment can stop a minor heart attack from turning into a major one. But here's where it gets really practical. What if you can't speak? What if you feel like you're going to pass out? If you haven't already, now is the time to set your phone up with voice-activated emergency calling. Whether it's Siri, Google Assistant, or another tool, these features can be lifesavers. You can say, "Hey Siri, call 911 and get help even if you can't move your hands well." It takes 5 minutes to set up, and it could save your life. Do it today, not tomorrow. Now, there's a myth floating around that says, if you're having a heart attack and you're alone, you should start coughing hard, like a sort of CPR on yourself. Maybe you've heard it. Unfortunately, that's not really true. It's not recommended by emergency doctors, and it can actually delay the real help you need. So skip the myths and focus on what works. If you've been prescribed aspirin by your doctor and you feel those early signs coming on, chewing a tablet immediately can help slow clot formation. But, and this is important, only do this if you know it's safe for you. Not everyone can take aspirin, and for some, it can cause serious issues. So if you're not sure, talk to your doctor today and ask them directly. If I ever think I'm having a heart attack, should I take aspirin? Get a clear yes or no, and keep a note in your wallet or near your medications. You see, this isn't about living in fear of what might happen. It's about being ready, just like we keep flashlights in case the power goes out or we lock our doors at night, not because we expect danger, but because we respect it and we prepare. So far, we've talked about recognizing the signs and what to do in the first moments if you're alone. These are the moments that can make all the difference. And while we can't control when a heart attack might happen, we can control how ready we are when it does. Now, let's take this one step further. Knowing what to do in the moment is powerful. But what if you could give yourself a better shot at avoiding that moment in the first place? What if small changes in your daily life could strengthen your heart, calm your blood pressure, and keep you a step ahead? Let's talk about those next. Great! Let's keep the conversation going. So now that we've talked about those first few minutes, recognizing the signs, staying upright, calling for help, and knowing whether or not to take aspirin, let's shift gears just a little. Because here's a truth that's just as important. The best time to prepare for a heart attack is before one ever happens. Now, I'm not talking about living in constant worry. I'm talking about building little habits, tiny, everyday choices that quietly build up your body's defenses. You don't need to run marathons or become a health nut. But if you're over 60, you do need to know how to protect your heart, even when no one else is around. Let's start with something incredibly simple: hydration. Most people don't realize how big a role water plays in heart health. You might think you're drinking enough, but as we age, our sense of thirst becomes duller. That means we're more likely to be dehydrated without even realizing it. When you're dehydrated, your blood gets thicker, your heart has to work harder to pump it, and if you're already dealing with high blood pressure or cholesterol, that extra strain can tip you closer to danger. So one of the easiest things you can do for your heart every single day is to drink enough water. A good rule of thumb: sip throughout the day, don't wait until you're thirsty. Now, let's talk about movement. And no, I don't mean you have to join a gym or start doing burpees in your living room. But sitting for long stretches, especially if you're retired or not as active as you used to be, can quietly increase your risk for heart trouble. You see, when you sit for hours without moving, your circulation slows down, blood can pool in your legs, and that can lead to clots or pressure on your heart. But here's the good news. You don't need to do anything dramatic. Just stand up every 30 to 60 minutes. Walk around the room. Do a few gentle stretches. Even 5 minutes of light movement can help keep your blood flowing and your heart strong. And while we're at it, let's mention something that gets overlooked far too often: sleep. Good. Deep sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's one of the most powerful ways to reduce inflammation, regulate blood pressure, and repair your cardiovascular system. But after 60, many people struggle with sleep. Maybe it's waking up too early, trouble falling asleep, or needing to use the bathroom during the night. So if your sleep has been restless lately, it's worth paying attention to. Try creating a bedtime routine that calms your mind. Dim lights, no screens, maybe some gentle music or reading. And if you have conditions like sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome, don't brush them off. These issues can quietly raise your heart attack risk over time. Talk to your doctor, and don't be afraid to push for real answers. But as important as sleep, water, and movement are, there's another factor that plays an even bigger role, and that's stress. You might not think of stress as a heart attack trigger, but let me tell you, it absolutely can be. When you're under chronic stress, your body is flooded with hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Your blood pressure rises, your heart works overtime, and your immune system starts to misfire. It's like living in a constant state of low-grade emergency. Over time, that takes a toll on your heart, sometimes in ways you can't feel until it's too late. So what do we do about stress? We can't eliminate it completely. Life happens. We lose people. We face changes. We worry about our health, our kids, our grandkids. But what we can do is learn how to process stress more gently. One of the most underrated tools for this is deep breathing. I know, it sounds almost too simple, but research shows that deep, slow breathing can actually lower blood pressure and reduce the workload on your heart. Try this sometime. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and breathe out for 6. Do that a few times, especially when you feel anxious, and you'll notice your whole body start to shift. Another tool, connection. Even if you live alone, staying emotionally connected to friends, family, a faith community, or even a neighbor you wave to, can buffer your heart against stress. Loneliness isn't just an emotional state, it's a physical risk factor. And after 60, it matters more than most people realize. If you've been isolating yourself, or you've lost touch with people you used to talk to, don't wait for them to reach out. Make the call, write the note, start a new conversation. It's not about having dozens of friends, it's about not carrying your burdens alone. All of this, hydration, movement, sleep, stress management, these are your daily lifelines. They're not flashy, and they're not immediate fixes, but over time, they create a body that's more resilient, more balanced, and better prepared to weather a storm, even the kind that shows up in the form of a heart attack. And yes, genetics matter, but they don't write the whole story. Your choices, your habits, your mindset, these things hold incredible power, even now, maybe especially now. We're not aiming for perfection, we're aiming for preparedness. And part of that means being honest about where you are today and taking small steps toward where you want to be tomorrow. So far, we've focused on what happens in those crucial early moments and how your daily choices can shape your heart's future. But what happens after the emergency passes? What if you survive a heart attack? How do you heal, rebuild, and protect yourself from another? Let's keep going. Absolutely, let's continue. So you've made it through the storm. Whether it was a close call or a full-blown heart attack, you're here, and that alone is something to be proud of. Surviving a heart attack, especially after 60, isn't just about luck. It's about instinct, preparation, and strength you probably didn't even realize you had. But now comes the part many people overlook, the recovery. Because healing doesn't just happen in a hospital bed. It happens in your home, in your habits, and in your mindset. Recovery isn't a passive thing, it's something you do. And how you approach those days and weeks after can make a world of difference for your long-term health. Let's start with something that catches many people off guard. The emotional impact. It's completely normal to feel shaken, scared, even a little lost. Some people feel like they've lost trust in their own body. Others feel angry or embarrassed, like they should have seen it coming. But here's the truth. Your feelings are valid. A heart attack isn't just a physical event. It's an emotional earthquake. And ignoring the emotional aftermath can be just as harmful as ignoring chest pain. So be gentle with yourself. Talk to someone. Whether it's a doctor, a friend, a therapist, or even a support group, don't carry the weight alone. And speaking of talking to someone, follow-up care is not optional. It's your lifeline. After a heart attack, your doctor will likely prescribe medications to help prevent another one. Things like blood thinners, beta blockers, or cholesterol medications. And I know the idea of more pills can feel overwhelming. But these aren't just prescriptions. They're part of your second chance. Don't skip your meds. Don't adjust the dose on your own. And if you're experiencing side effects, speak up. There are always alternatives, but only if your doctor knows what's going on. Your body has changed, and your care plan should be just as unique as you are. Now let's talk about activity. After a heart attack, many people are scared to move. They think, if I push too hard, will it happen again? That fear is completely understandable, but staying still is often more dangerous than gentle motion. Your heart is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to stay active to get stronger. Cardiac rehab programs are fantastic for this, and they're often covered by insurance. But even if you don't have access to one, you can still move with purpose. Start small. A short walk, a few stretches. Listen to your body, but don't let fear keep you frozen. And yes, rest is just as important. But the goal is restorative rest, not avoidance. Healing means pacing yourself, not giving up. It means saying yes to what serves you and no to what drains you. Another part of recovery that often gets ignored. Your kitchen. I'm not talking about dieting or giving up everything you love. I'm talking about small changes that make a big impact, like adding more heart-healthy fats from nuts and olive oil, swapping out processed meats for lean protein, cutting back on salt, and reading those food labels a little more carefully. Here's a tip that works well. Instead of thinking about what to remove, focus on what to add. Add more color to your plate, add more fiber, add more water. These simple shifts feed your heart what it really needs. Nourishment, not punishment. But as much as food, medication, and movement matter, there's something else. Something a lot quieter. But maybe the most important of all, your attitude. Because after a health scare like this, it's easy to feel like your world has shrunk, like you have to tiptoe through every day, afraid to do the wrong thing. But surviving a heart attack shouldn't make you feel smaller. It should remind you of how strong you truly are. You are not fragile. You are resilient. Your body is still capable. Your heart, even after everything, still wants to beat for you. And you get to decide what kind of life you want to build from here. Maybe it's one with more walks in the sun, more laughter, fewer things that don't matter, and more time spent on what truly does. Maybe it's the motivation you needed to finally cut out the cigarettes, or start cooking at home, or call that old friend you've been meaning to reconnect with. A heart attack can be the end of something, but it can also be the beginning of a richer, more intentional chapter. So if you're listening to this, and you've been through one yourself, or you're just trying to prepare, know this: your future isn't written in stone. Your age doesn't define your outcome. Your diagnosis doesn't erase your joy. You've still got time to grow, time to laugh, time to live a life that supports the heart that supports you. And if any of this has resonated with you, I want to leave you with this. Never underestimate the power of the little things. Drinking water, taking your meds, standing up when you've been sitting too long, breathing deeply, reaching out instead of retreating. These small daily choices are what create strong hearts, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually too. So take a moment today, right now even, and ask yourself, what's one thing I can do for my heart today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Maybe it's drinking an extra glass of water. Maybe it's calling your doctor to ask about aspirin. Maybe it's standing up and stretching your legs. Or maybe it's just placing your hand on your chest, feeling that steady beat, and whispering a quiet thank you. Thank you for another day, another breath, another chance. Because that's what this is, isn't it? A second chance. And you've earned it. Here's to living stronger, wiser, and more fully every heartbeat of the way. If this video helped you or someone you love, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Your story might be the one that inspires someone else to take action. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like this video and subscribe for more practical, uplifting health tips just like this. Your heart's still beating. That means your story isn't over. Let's make every beat count.